Good afternoon. Well, the day is finally here as the Women's Six Nations steps out from the men's shadows for a very special 2021 competition. We're here live at Castle Park for England against Scotland. Now, there will be an adjusted format that sees the countries this year split into two different pools. Pool A is made up of England, Italy and Scotland. That will be our focus here. Meanwhile, there's Pool B that will include France, Ireland and Wales. Now, everyone plays each nation in their pool once, and then there'll be a finals day when top, middle and bottom of the pools will play off to determine the rankings and, of course, the winner of the 2021 Six Nations. Now, the games that are going to be getting us started in round one, of course, we're here for England against Scotland, and then a little bit later it will be France hosting Wales. Now, it is also a rest weekend for Ireland and Italy, who will be starting their campaigns next week. Now, of course, Scotland, who are the away side today, they actually only got to play 3 of their games in 2020 because of COVID. They've arrived in Doncaster saying that they are undaunted by the task ahead of them, and so they should. Of course, despite a 53-0 loss to the Red Roses last February, they had a very impressive 13-all draw with semi-professional France in October, and it's really paved the way for them to have some confidence and determination as we look on there trying to figure out where that trophy is going to end up in the hands come at the end of April. I'm delighted to say here in commentary with me, I've got England scrum half and World Cup winner Natasha Hunt. Are you expecting an improved Scotland as they just come out onto the pitch, led of course by Rachel Malcolm?
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, Rachel Malcolm has been absolutely amazing in terms of her leadership, how she's spoken about it throughout the week. She's been unbelievable, and I think they've talked that the focus is purely on themselves. It's not on anyone else, it's not on England, and they want to get a performance that they can be proud of, and they've got so much fire and passion that I'm sure that that's what they'll do today.
Yeah, there is Rachel Malcolm just leading out the side as they go and take their positions down on the end of the pitch here at Doncaster. There's Brian Eason, who has taken over the role of the Scotland head coach. This is only his second match in charge, but he is meant to be bringing a slightly different style of rugby from Scotland. It seemed to work in that match against France, and it'll be interesting to see how they have continued to develop that theme. Well, here we go. England, the reigning champions, back-to-back Grand Slams in 2019 and 2020, led out by Emily Scarrett in the absence of regular captain Sarah Hunter. And now you will notice that England are wearing black armbands here today. It's a mark of respect after Paul Dow, the father of England wing Abby Dow, passed away earlier this week. Paul was also a coach with Reading Rugby Football Club, and the thoughts and prayers of the whole rugby family are with Paul's family today. Well, England just making that slow walk, calm heads, of course. And they line up and they look up at the stand in Doncaster. You will notice the shirts there of all the clubs that can't be in the stands today. A nice mark by the Rugby Football Union. Now, before we have the anthems, rugby will make its stand against racism in any form. We'll now have the anthems, starting, of course, with Flower of Scotland. Doncaster will remain on their feet for God Save the Queen. Then Emily Scarrett straight away calling in her England team to get themselves ready for this one. And time for us to take a look at the side. Simon Middleton, he makes 9 changes to his England starting 15 that beat France at Twickenham in November. In the backs, all eyes focus on Loughborough Lightning's Helena Rowland as the Red Roses search for a new first choice 10 after the retirement of Katie Daly-McLean will continue. In the forwards, there's a return from injury for Kath O'Donnell in the second row, but a special moment for Bryony Cleal wearing 3. It's been 2 years, an enormous battle with injury to be back in the mix for only her second cap today. Let's take a look at Scotland. Brian Easton, he makes 3 changes to his Scotland starting 15 that drew with France. The backs are unchanged as another Loughborough fly half, Helen Nelson, will be relishing the opportunity to go head-to-head with her club and housemate Rowland. In the forwards, tight-head Christine Bilal and lock Louise McMillan get starts, along with Stirling County Siobhan Catigan at 8. She comes in after the ever-impressive Jade Conkle has opted to step away from rugby to start a career with the London Fire Brigade. Well, on the benches, lots of interest around Wasps' Meg Jones and where she'll come in and play for England, while it could be a Scotland debut for Stirling County's Evie Gallagher. Well, alongside me here, Natasha Hunt. What are your thoughts of those lineups, Natasha?
Firstly, it's just great to see Bryony Cleal back in the mix, but for me, the interesting one is Zoe Allcroft. She's slotting in at 6. We normally see her in the second row, so she's been going in great form for Gloucester Hartbury. Looking forward to seeing how she goes out there.
Well, our referee for this one, you can see on your screen now, Aurélie Grosilou of France. She's just waiting to get us underway in this fresh and shiny new campaign. There is Bryony Cleal. For anyone new to women's rugby, there are 2 Cleal sisters on the pitch. They are identical twins. Very kindly, Bryony has opted for a bottle of bleach in the England camp to help us out. England get us underway, and the 2021 Women's Six Nations has finally started. And a tense contest as Scotland gather the ball. And here comes Catigan, wearing 8 for Scotland. McDonald there, not really got a runner onto the ball. McDonald decides to go backwards. Nelson, with that right boot, comes down towards this near side. McKenna. Here comes the running feed of Rowland. You can tell she plays 7s. Riley. Back down the England line. Tuima passes out to the far side. Ward on the floor. Cleal. Riley. Nice soft hands there from England. And there's Kath O'Donnell, spoken about as an enforcer by Simon Middleton this week. Packer. Aldcroft. He's still going here. It's Poppy Cleal on the ball for England. She's handing off everyone in her sights. Eventually Scotland drag her down to the turf. They've managed to suck that ball out of there, and they're still going here, England. They can feel something coming very early on here in this fixture. Penalty advantage as well. Pick and go, keeping it tight in the forwards. Riley. Here comes the crossfield kick. It's just too much. Thompson couldn't get her hands to it, but they'll come back for the penalty.
It's a really ferocious start, isn't it, by England? We mentioned it pre-match, but the quality of the carries from Allcroft, the offload to Poppy Cleal. She's got 3 player of the match performances out of 4 games so far this season, in the last few coming in, so we know what her quality is, and just brilliant play.
Well, our referee at the moment, the penalty was for offside, and she's appealing for a ball at the moment. Eventually she's got one.
Here you see it, just the hands through as she's falling. Poppy Cleal does brilliantly just to wait behind, allow her to release her hands, and again, keeping the ball alive is what I love to see. Great strength from Vicky Cornborough. England really showing their intent early.
Big line out here for England. Keep an eye on Lark Davis, who has been a prolific scorer. She's the top scorer in the Premier 15s at the moment. As she gets the ball in, expect her to sneak round and maybe put that one just under her shoulder. And this is England driving towards the line. The ball is in there somewhere, and it is Lark Davis who's got it at the moment. The referee is watching to see if this is still moving in the right direction. Big hits coming in from Scotland to try and deal with this. Eventually, England do release the backs. Another crossfield kick. It does land in the field of play. Oh, not going to be there on that occasion. Lydia Thompson doing everything she can, but the ball's just about a metre too far every time.
I love the intent from Rowland. Both kicks have just had a little bit too much on it, as you mentioned, but what about that from Scotland? That is advantage Scotland for me. Every time England go in, they're looking to score from those driving moors. The setup was good, but how good was that Scottish defence coming back through? Fantastic play by them, and that will be a real confidence boost this early on in the game.
Well, Scotland were delighted with their defence in that 13-all match with France. It looks like they're trying to carry on where they left off. Here's Scarrett trying to dance her way out of tackles, but it's Gaffney who brings her down. Davis. Rowland. Cleal. A little bit of a knock-on at the back there by Riley, and this is a chance for us to get to see a Scotland scrum, a big moment here. You've got Cornborough, Davis and Cleal in the front row going up against Bartlett, Skeldon and Belisle. A little bit of treatment before it all gets going. So one of the Scotland players, I think it might be Emma Wassell, oh no, it's the captain, Rachel Malcolm, just receiving a little bit of treatment. Everyone's calmed down at the moment. You've mentioned Scotland there. They've been speaking a lot this week about their determination and how they're not afraid of England. It's wonderful to hear.
It really is, and how much of that is a boost from what their men did, going down to Twickenham, beating England on their home soil. But for me, you can see their intent, that driving more setup, so difficult to defend. When the attack get it right, it is so difficult to defend. The setup was good from England. They got the ball transfer back really quickly, but just the sheer determination of those Scots not to let England over the line. It's a win every time you're passing the ball out to try and get it through the backs. It means that you can't go through the forwards, and that's advantage to Scotland right now.
Well, Rachel Malcolm is still receiving a little bit of treatment to her leg at the moment, but it seems she's going to be happy to play on covered in sticky tape. Of course, Rachel Malcolm, she's actually one of the Scotland players who doesn't have a contract. 9 of them do, but she's not actually one of them. And we should call her Dr. Rachel Malcolm, of course. She has a PhD, and she also takes lectures. I think it's with Nottingham Trent University. Very clever woman in her own right, but also a fantastic rugby player with Loughborough.
Yeah, a fantastic rugby player, but also a fantastic leader. She got a knock in the first minute of the game, and I'm just praying that she can continue and play on in this game, because she's huge for this team. She's the emotional barometer. She really does drag them through. You can see the passion in the anthem, like how much she loves playing for this team, and I just keep everything crossed that she can continue and stay on the field.
Well, Helen Nelson there just having a chat with Mari MacDonald. 9 and 10 just comparing notes about what they're going to do there. Nelson just making her way also to Lisa Thompson for a little chat, so clearly something is brewing.
I anticipate them sending this long. They've spent a lot of time in these opening exchanges in their own half. They're under a lot of pressure at the minute, so for me, I anticipate this going either through the lengthy boot of Nelson or Thompson, both very good kickers in their own right and kicking downfield. Conversely, we see Sarah McKenna sat in the backfield on her own, I think that's quite an interesting tactic for me from England. I would have put somebody back. As I mentioned, that Jess Breach is starting to make her way. But there's a lot of space for Sarah McKenna to cover.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Well, that scrum, it's tasty in there. It's really hard. Eventually, Scotland do get a nudge on there, and we've got scrum half on scrum half. McDonald versus Riley.
Stay.
Does get coughed up on the Scotland side.
Land!
McMillan there in a real tricky position on the floor. Nelson, it's been charged down. Marley Packer is there. It was open play ball. She can do that. So Scotland have given the ball back to England, and it's Cleel who works her way towards the 22.
You warning. You wall.
Referee doesn't like it. Scotland get to clear their lines.
Really good charge down, wasn't it, by Riley? Something that England have hammered home for many years, just making sure the 9 goes after the kicker, and nothing wrong with that at all. Really good timing of the ball. The ball's just in the air a little bit too long, and Nelson can't get it away, but they get the opportunity now. Good touch finder in the end after a bounce. Scotland ball.
Well, this is a best platform that Scotland have had to do something so far in this fixture.
On the mark.
Lana Skeldon there is positively sprightly to go and gather that ball and get this going. Oh, what a great ball taken at the back by Scotland. Nelson.
Yes, Marley!
McDonald manages to find Wassell. Nice stuff from Smith on the far side, but she's caught in the end. And England get it back.
Stay.
Riley decides to send it to Tuima. They switch direction here, England. They're trying to attack the far side, get it into the hands of their wingers, and here comes Breach. She is loving going around as many Scotland defenders as she can. She gives it to Riley in the end. Look at those hard yards being worked there right through the middle of the pitch by O'Donnell. Nice soft hands there by Scarrett to get that one underway. Lots of pressure.
Advantage. Not rolling away. Number 11. Advantage.
Riley kicks it through. Foot chase is on again for Thompson, but they'll come back for the penalty.
Not rolling.
It was a lovely initial break by England, wasn't it? So often we see them sat in the backfield and they kick that and they get their wingers to chase, but instead change of tactic. Lovely hands by Emily Scarrett, really good timing on the ball, and Jess Breach is just brilliant running in space. What about that tackle from Megan Gaffney though? Literally textbook chop around the ankles, fantastic stuff.
Blue.
Well, this was England attacking down that far side, and Jess Breach is a real threat.
Yeah, she really is. For me, you just see Hannah Smith and McDonald in the backfield. They just need to push up into the line at that point, plug the hole and make it harder to get around the outside.
Slight overthrow by Davis.
Knock on, advantage blue. Knock on. Stay.
Wassell again.
Stay back. Use it. Advantage over. 6. Stop. 6.
Warning there for Scotland to get back on side as England push the ball towards the edge of the field. And who's out there? It's Scarrett. Cleel to her sister. Back inside. This is great hands still going here from England. Wonderful stuff from the forwards as Packer is there to try and gather. Packer still going. Packer goes over. Our referee will go and check it. But Marley Packer might have just gone over for the first try of the Six Nations.
Oh, yeah?
She's so good at that, isn't she?
Watch the hand
such an opportunist player. Lovely carries again, that offload from Poppy Cleal. She's so dangerous. You have to get players in and around her all the time. She manages to get her hands free.
My on-field decision is not try, because for me you have a knock-on on the grounding. Please, can you check if the grounding is good or not?
Okay, Orly, so on-field decision is no try.
Yeah.
One moment, please.
Well, they're just trying to decide if Marley Packer has knocked on the ball as she goes over the line. Our referee Aurélie Groselot is having to work her way across the pitch to see a very small screen.
There is a clear grounding. You may award the try.
Yeah, thank you, Joy. Joy, I don't have a screen in the stadium.
Well, this is a bit of a marathon that Aurélie Groselot is having to complete here to give this try. So Marley Packer does score the opening try of the 2021 Women's Six Nations, and Emily Scarrett will line up the conversion.
Yeah, it was a brilliant finish in the end from Marley Packer, wasn't it? So often you see teams slow that play down. They wait for numbers, they have people in and around the ball, but Marley Packer saw the opportunity, saw the ball, saw the line 2 meters away, and no one's stopping her from there. Brilliant finish.
Emily Scarrett adds the extras as well then. So as we approach the 10-minute mark here, England lead 7-0. And it is worth mentioning at this point that England, when they last played Scotland, they did put 53 on them. But already we can see these improvements from this Scotland side. They are not going to roll over and have their tummy tickled here in Doncaster. Perhaps a restart clearance kick there from Helena Rowland she'd like to forget.
Yeah, absolutely, but brilliant length of the kick from Lisa Thompson, putting it straight back in there. You know that England, they're going to want to clear their lines. They look to clear within 1 or 2 phases consistently, so put it down there, put the pressure on. Brilliant chase from Megan Gaffney, and see what Scotland are made of at this one.
Can Scotland get into England's 22 for the first time? Referee happy for us to play on. McDonald finds Nelson.
Release!
McDonald again, nice back inside to Nelson. Skeldon got support just on our shoulder by Belisle. Nice pass from Smith, manages to find a skipper in Malcolm.
It's a good context, holding on. It's a good context.
It's frustrating from Scotland, they just can't seem to break into the 22.
Yeah, it is frustrating, and referee's really quick on the whistle, isn't she, in terms of the holding on. As soon as you're there, almost sevens, normally there's a bit of a time to breathe to allow that clear out to happen, but both teams is being ref consistently, so that's definitely something that they're going to have to look at.
Blue here? Blue? Blue, please!
Lark Davis there is just waiting for the secret whisper to go in her ear of what they want to do here from Vicky Cornborough. Very smart functioning line out there from England. They decide to power straight through into the middle of the Scottish defensive line. Scarrett with a long pass out wide. Breach very happy to take that pass. Riley looks up, Rowland is waiting. Here comes Ward. Rowland just juggles the ball slightly. Scarrett with the pass off her shoulder round the corner. It's Aldcroft who takes it on. McKenna to Scarrett. Nice soft hands once again. Packer didn't have anyone behind there, but there was an England player to do the tidy up job. Aldcroft again. McKenna with the distribution, Clear with the pass out to the far side. It's off her left hand, bounces off the floor. Here comes Breach again. Oh, she's desperately trying to make sure her tiptoes don't end up on the whitewash. So no advantage here, but Scotland have got their hands on the ball. Cadogan.
Use it! Those balls out.
Oh, a little bit of almost being unsure of herself there, Helen Nelson, about trying to clear that one away. She's made good ground, but lost the ball in the contact.
Yeah, it was a brilliant initial break, wasn't it, by Nelson? Outstanding footwork to get out of the onrushing Emily Scarrett, and if you're looking at someone to charge down, the rangy length of Emily Scarrett coming at you with her arms in the air is probably not the one to kick a ball in, especially that charge down that happened earlier, but it's just so hard. She almost felt like she was through, and Bryony Cleo comes in with the side swipe, just dislodges the ball. But promising again from Scotland, the rip, there's just this not giving up attitude, but they've got to be able to keep that composure and clear their lines. They cannot play this much of the game in their own 22.
Bye! So far? Yeah.
Well, no words coming in from our referee there. She just wants to reset it. She's happy for them to pack back down. If you're trying to keep an eye on how England perhaps played in the last Six Nations, they did score most of their tries from line-outs. It was 11 that they got from line-out in 2020. 9 did come from a scrum. Rowland with the pass to Scarrett. Here comes Tuima. Pass out line. Still, Thompson can't quite get that last pass cleanly to her. We're playing advantage, though, to Scotland. I think they're giving them the choice if they want the knock-on or the line-up.
It's just beautiful play, isn't it? Emily Scarrett is having an absolute field day with this defence. What you get from Scarrett, having her in your team, is everyone eyeballs her, everyone talks about her, everyone knows what a threat she is, but she has such soft hands that she carries to the line and then she becomes a distributor, and the timing of her pass is absolutely exemplary.
And no easy throw-ins for Skeldon. She's done so well so far. There's McLaughlin, who flew in there with that last big hit for the Scottish forwards. Box kick comes in from McDonald. McKenna says thank you. Thompson does finally get a ball in hand. Riley, McKenna, Scarrett, Tuima, who's hanging out there on that left wing. Poppy clear.
Advantage. Offside.
Big hit going on Marley Packer as it ends up with Bryony Cleal. Hands going through, still it's Ward now. 5 metres for England left to travel if they can execute. Here's Riley, Riley going forward. Try given. Harlequins Leanne Riley gets England's second.
Just relentless pressure, isn't it, from England? They're just coming in waves and waves and waves, and Scotland are really, really struggling to be able to stunt it. They're coming around the corner at such speed. It's a brilliant finish and a great pick by Leanne Riley, just testing the base.
Well, it looks like she might have injured herself in scoring that. I mean, how she landed, she could also have winded herself, which in itself just takes a little bit of time to recover from.
You just see Scotland trying to flood around the corner, trying to stop that, and Mary McDonald just goes a little bit high, probably expects the pass. Leanne Riley, as she's been doing for Harlequins all season, just shows the slight dummy bit of footwork and gets in and around, but yeah, looks as though she might have winded herself in the process.
She got the job done, and she is back on her feet and rejoining her teammates with a pretty impressive water girl they've got working today in the form of Sarah Hunter. That's the regular England captain, of course, who is still coming back from her injury, as Emily Scarrett lines up her second shot at the goal. Right, that has come off the woodwork, but we did just have a check there from the television match official. Oh, we've been told it's fine. I think they're just checking on the time at the moment.
Earlier down, so in the next downtime you may leave early enough.
Right then.
Thank you. Nice.
England leading by 12 then here in Doncaster in this opening Women's Six Nations match. It is also worth mentioning this is actually England's 100th Six Nations game. It should be a 100th game this weekend for a lot of teams, but of course it was only England who actually managed to play 5 games in the last Six Nations campaign, so you might hear us saying a lot of that as the weekends roll on.
Just going back to the water girl, what I love about Sarah Hunter is she's actually got her socks pulled right up, taking her job seriously. Brilliant to see.
Really long restart there from Scotland. And it seems to be working for them because Rowland just seems to slightly scuff the ball on that angle each time.
Does feel like there's a bit of a breeze, and I'm not sure whether that's into Rowland's face as she's kicking that away. But she's got a huge boot when she puts her foot through the ball, so I'm sure she'll rectify that in the next one.
Well, this is the 3rd time Scotland have had a line out in this position. Can they finally break into the 22 on this occasion? Good arm wrestle going in there with the forwards, and Scotland get the penalty. They're really calm here, Scotland. They know if they're going to get points here, they really need to compose themselves and build.
They are calm, but I was almost willing Mary McDonald to take that quickly then.
Anyone would think you're a scrum half, man.
It's my scrum half in me, but she had Kath O'Donnell up. Sarah McKenna was across the far side of the pitch. I think she could have had a decent run, but sensible head, like play the territory, play the possession. They've not been in this position. This is the first time they're entering the 22.
Scotland, 10 metres out. Gone long again. So much credit has to go to Skeldon there. Some big throws that she has executed so well. McDonald then, there goes Thompson. Big crash there from the inside centre. McDonald looks up, she's got support. Well, Bartlett arrived late to offer support there. It was a loose ball, it's been recycled. It is Nelson who's been pushed backwards on the ball. Wassel. They just recycle, go around the corner. Well, McLachlan was pushed back off the ball there. She somehow managed to suck it up though and hold on to it. McDonald gives it to Thompson again. Well, the referee's going to come back for what she's seen, and so far the England defence is holding.
It is, but how dominant are Scotland when they've got their latch? They take their time and they're hitting through the contact. Some really good carries then. I think the ball just squirted out, so Mary McDonald was forced to make the pass to Nelson, who wasn't really expecting it, but a really good set from Scotland. The line-out detail, just absolutely brilliant. Going up at the front, I think Zoe Allcroft has defended that so well, but just a change in tact to go up at the back like that. And as you mentioned, Lana Skeldon, brilliant ball to hit it on the money, first time in the 22.
Well, Helen Nelson is going to kick for goal. How important are these points going on the board here, if they do, for Scotland, considering they've been nilled by England a number of times, last time out 53-0?
It's huge. I don't think they'll be thinking about the points to not come away with nothing on the score sheet. I think they'll be trying to keep a foothold into the game. This is the first time they've gone into the 22 and they've come away with points. It's brilliant game management from them. If they can exit really strongly now, I'm sure that they'll be back down in the 22 and fighting again.
Helen Nelson from Loughborough Lightning with the kicks, and that's her Scotland captain, who also plays at Loughborough, who was running back there as Brian Easton looks on. Rowland with the restart, and she's kicking that ball into the wind. England have got the wind against them in this first half. Scotland have got the sunshine.
Release, right.
Recycle ball coming down the Scotland line.
First.
McDonald. It's Louise McMillan there, who really had to shuffle her shoulders from side to side and try and get over that gain line. Just slightly loose there. Cadogan couldn't quite take it. England get given a gift just outside of the Scotland 22. Riley.
Advantage over.
Just trying to flood that far side channel. Looks like it's another knock-on.
Knock-on. White and blue.
So they'll come back for the first one.
Yeah, it's just tough, that, isn't it, from Cadogan? For me, if you're going to play, you've got to just be so solid in this area. Scotland weren't really going anywhere. They had 4 or 5 phases, not really going anywhere. Put Nelson, put Thompson in the pocket, send it long. Don't play rugby in your half when you've just got yourself back on the scoreboard. As it is, they've been let off. They've got a scrum down. I'm sure we'll see them exit from this.
Well, they're just having a few running repairs and the water coming onto the field at the moment. We've spoken about Siobhan Cadogan coming in for Jade Conkle, who's just stepped away from rugby just for a little bit to do her training with the London Fire Brigade. And it was interesting in the week that Brian Eason was saying that he doesn't expect her to be Jade Conkle. You know, he just wants her to be her. He wants her to go out, express herself. She's a good rugby player in her own right.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's all you want from your coach. You want to be encouraged to be able to play your game and not try and fill shoes that you're not necessarily sure like how to do that. I think Jade Conkle's a massive loss. Like she made about 360 metres in last year's competition, equal to Sarah Byrne, both of them top in the chart. So yeah, it's a huge loss for them, but as you mentioned, she's settled in, she looks settled, she looks comfortable, and I'm sure she'll grow through the tournament.
Crouch! Let's go, England. Side. Bind. Set.
Scotland get the ball in, and it's Cadogan who tries to run away with it. They decide to take it back towards the far side. Penalty straight away for England.
Holding on.
Really good pressure, wasn't it, at the back of the scrum again from Leanne Riley. I think McDonald can just potentially help her out a little bit, just stay in the way, make yourself a little bit bigger. I know she's only 56 kilograms, but make yourself a bit bigger there. And great floor work from Lark Davis again, has been doing that all season for Loughborough Lightning. Giving her team a real opportunity now.
Not much there in the discipline between the two sides so far here, with just over 25 minutes gone now. 4 penalties for Scotland, 3 from England. But what a line-out opportunity for the Red Roses. Lark Davis has it, and the shove is on. This is moving. Scotland trying to get their hands over the top here, but this is looking good for England. That one's over the line. Try number 3. Lark Davis has been doing that all season for Loughborough. She's now doing it in a white shirt too.
Just really good setup play, isn't it? A brilliant line out, hitting right at the top. Great jump from Abby Ward. Straight down on the floor, the tightness that they set it up, the speed at which the ball gets back. Look at this, fantastic catch. Everyone's ready, everyone's in their position. You see Vicky Cornborough, number 1, digging to get her hands in. Lark Davis straight on ball, and then you can just see the legs driving. Scotland working really hard. You see Emma Waddle coming over the top, just trying to get a hand on ball. Working really, really hard there, but brilliant play and a fantastic finish. When a Moore's going forward like that, it is so tough to stop.
Well, I said a little bit before that Lark Davis had been doing that all season at club level. If I tell you when she's got 18 tries, that's how well she's doing in the league. Emily Scarrett, no mistake on that occasion. England extend their lead in Doncaster. It's now England 19, Scotland 3.
Yeah, she wasn't going to miss that one after the last one came off the woodwork, was she? But there you see it again, just really good control, great control from Leanne Riley at the back, telling Lark exactly where the line is, when to drop, as all good scrum halves do.
Behind, please.
Restart then from Scotland to Helena Rowland. And that one just got a bit of a touch there off a Scottish hand. Ends up in the end in the hands of Chloe Rolly. Thompson gets it away to Nelson, and big hit. That English defensive line was flying up in Scotland's faces, and they get the penalty. That is ferocious defence.
Poppy Cleo, take a bow. That was absolutely epic. You just see here Scotland moving the ball. You kind of need the chat from the outside in just to say carry. Nelson probably could have gone herself on that one as Poppy Cleo lines her up, but a brilliant hit, and Scotland have just gone off their feet. They've just tried to seal the ball too quickly because they know the counter-attack's coming from England.
When it comes to Poppy Cleo, a lot of time we talk about England and great players, all attention goes to Emily Scarrett and Sarah Hunter, but Poppy Cleo, one of the best players in the world at the moment?
Oh, absolutely, without a question. I think her hands, her tackling ability, her work around the pitch, her footwork, everything about her game is absolutely unbelievable, and to play with her and against her, she's just unreal.
Oh, a little bit of telepathy failed from England there. Foot chase as Chloe Rolly does try and chase that one down this near side, comes out of play. Yep. England have lost quite a bit of ground there, and it's going to be brought back for an English liner on this near side.
I'm gutted. I would have loved to have seen a foot race. Chloe Rolly against Lydia Thompson, two of the quickest players with the best footwork in the game. For England, though, it's just that last pass, isn't it? That last pass isn't quite sticking in the wide channels.
Oh, that's gone long. And it's Scotland who now have the ball right in the middle. They can split England here and try and create some space. Thompson. Skeldon, nice pass away there to Wassell. Nelson. Rolly thought she could see a bit of daylight there. Nelson knew she needed a bit more support, and Skeldon was there on the inside shoulder. Comes Macmillan.
Move back.
You can hear the shouts from the pitch of Scotland almost saying to each other, move. I want the ball. They need the position.
Yes, the ball is out. Move away, move.
There's a real scrap here on the floor to try and sort this one out, and it's Scotland who get the ball in the end, but that was messy.
I know, but yes.
Yeah, it really was. For me, I am absolutely loving Emma Wassell on her carries. I think her footwork around the contact has been brilliant. Every time she's catching the ball, there's so much good footwork. She's getting her hands free or offload in, but Scotland are just trying to mix it up. You saw the inside ball just then from Helen Nelson. You saw her carry herself. They're trying to mix it up. They're trying to keep this England squad guessing, but how good is the English defence? So difficult to break down when it's that set, isn't it? And it's that ready. You're getting dominant hits from the likes of Poppy Cleo, Zoe Allcroft. Really tough day.
And of course, with the adapted laws that a lot of these forwards have been playing with in the Premier 15s, a lot of the forwards, they weren't that keen on having too many scrums today, because arguably they're perhaps not as scrum fit as normal. So all this play around the field will be an absolute delight to them.
You grab the arm.
But another penalty opportunity here for Scotland.
Yes.
This line-up battle's heating up, isn't it? Zoe Allcroft against Wassell. Both know each other inside out. Abby Ward in the mix as well. They're all line-up geniuses. They know their homework. They do it all the time. Let's see what Scotland have got now.
Yeah, as Natasha says there, Emma Wassell, she does run the Scotland line out. Winning her 45th cap today. This really is her bread and butter. Scotland have been here before. What can they do on this occasion? And I thought they could break free there, just try and gather, go round the corner. McDonald finds Thompson. She's very well wrapped up though. England knew exactly where she was. The recycle in this English defensive line, so far holding out Scotland. Packer just being such a nuisance at the back, and England have got the ball back. Riley gets it back, Rowland clears, and the initial danger has passed.
That's the Helena Rowland boot we've been waiting to see, isn't it? Really good touch finder from Helena, just making sure that she puts it into the stand as well, so that Scotland don't get the opportunity to counter-attack. But really good rip from Emily Scarrett on the ball. Potentially knee down. I think Malcolm's a bit aggrieved about that one, but really good rip, really good control from England. And they managed to breathe again.
Yeah.
Well, there was definitely an English hand in there disrupting matters. And it is Davis who says, thank you. We'll take this.
Stop, Rhea, stop!
Rowland this time keeps it in the field of play. And Chloe Rowley finds herself with the white shirts approaching. McDonald towards the far side. McDonald again, this time taken on by Catigan. Loose on the floor. And here come England, they've got a chance to counter here. Kath O'Donnell, she takes it forward. Rowland now looks up, Tuima is there. Scarrett, back inside to McKenna, can she do the handoff now? It's Tuima, she's lining up the try line, has to be taken down. Here comes Marley Packer. England have the penalty advantage as well. Back inside, it's Bryony Cleal who goes over. Popped off by her identical sister, Poppy. If that try is given, I think it has been. That is England's fourth try, and that is the bonus point as Scotland get a warning.
After the pass for the number 12 is a yellow card. Yes, yes.
Okay, so we've got a yellow card now for Lisa Thompson. And it will be frustrating for Scotland, who've just spent a long spell down in England's half. They've conceded a fourth try, and now they're down to 14.
Yeah, really frustrating, but what about that from Bryony Cleal? That one's going to be really popular for any English fan, any rugby fan. 2 years between her first cap and her second. The amount of graft that's gone into her getting back on the pitch is brilliant, so fantastic to see.
Well, there's the conversion from Emily Scarrett. England 26, Scotland 3. And there is Lisa Thompson, who's gone into the bin. It'll be frustrating here for Scotland. This was just before the try was scored. You can see it went to Poppy, who gave it there to Bryony. Happy day in the Cleal household.
Absolutely is.
Yeah, for me it's backward. Yeah, it's for me, the situation is backward. It's not forward. I understand, yeah, not correct. Here's it.
Clever captain's work that is, isn't it? Just clarifying the rule about whether it's ripped forward or backwards. We might have a few more scrums after the rips from now on.
Well then, just 3 minutes to travel till the half-time whistle, and England's tails are up.
Don't move, Ian, don't move!
What will be worrying for Scotland is England will have the wind in the second half as well. Nelson gives it off to Rolly. She just loses it. Had it on her hip there. Just slipped away from her. Cleel. Riley, nice take off the floor. Cross field from Rowland. You can see the wind there. She put that one up and it was just taken slightly. As Breach takes it forward, she doesn't worry about the wind. Breach still going. Here's Jess Breach. She's going to fly over the try number 5. And Jess Breach of Harlequins made that look all too easy.
She's done so well with ball in hand, hasn't she, Jess Breach? We saw her as a superhero earlier in the week on Women's Six Nations Twitter, but just fantastic play. You can see her hips moving. Not the best crossfield from Helena Rowland. You can see she's a bit disappointed with that, but Breach just waits for it to land.
Yes.
Around the outside, ball transfer, swerve back on the inside, and a brilliant finish against her Harlequins teammate. See the fend there, she just backs herself down the wing, ball transfer again.
20 seconds.
She trains with Chloe Rowley week in, week out, so she knows how to take her on. Brilliant finish.
Quinn's teammates, Chloe Rowley and Jess Breach. We are contractually obliged to say whenever Jess Breach scores a try in a match, to remind everyone that she scored 6 tries on debut against Canada. I think everyone knows that one now.
I still get told off for not giving her player of the match that day, but Marley Packer and Katie Daly-McLean set her up for all of them. They were run-ins.
Right then, the conversion is good for Emily Scarrett. I think they've had a few issues with the timer between the referee and what's going on in the truck. So that is half-time here at Doncaster, and England have a commanding lead here. It's England 33, Scotland 3. Natasha, first of all, Scotland, they've had long spells down in the England half. They just haven't always come away with points.
Yeah, I think for me, the thing they need to really switch on with is how they're exiting. So at the minute, they're trying to play too much rugby in their own half. They're putting all the pressure on themselves rather than sending it long, getting after it and seeing what England can do. But equally, you can't kick loose because we've seen what Jess Breach can do down the wing. So if you're going to kick, you need a really decent chase to get after the ball and stop them at source.
Well, England will be the happier of the two camps as they head into the dressing rooms, but the half-time at Doncaster is England 33, Scotland 3. Well, Scotland making their way back out onto the field. Of course, they'll be starting this second half down to 14. Lisa Thompson still has some time to serve in the Sinden. There's Helen Nelson just having a bit of a chat there to Hannah Smith. Here come England. 5 tries in the first half. What have they got for the second? Worth mentioning that they average 7 tries a match in the 2026 Nations. And a lot of excitement around Poppy Cleel at the moment. She's got some pretty impressive stats from that first half, Natasha Hunt.
Just unbelievable. Just looking at the screen in front of me, she's on 8 carries, 57 metres made, 2 offloads, one of which came to the try, and 11 tackles and hasn't missed one yet. And we saw some of the intent of those tackles. A lot of them are dominant, coming through the line and getting turnovers for her team as well. So she really is one to watch and play in, probably one of the best players in the world right now.
Well, it will be Scotland who get us back underway in this second half. And as we mentioned, it means Scotland will be playing into the wind, while it means England will be blinded by the sun. You sort of swap weather conditions depending on which end of the park you are here in Doncaster. Right then, 40 minutes to go of this opening Women's Six Nations match in 2021. Half-time score was England 33, Scotland 3. Here comes Bryony Cleal. Long pass back, high into the air from the boot of Rowland. Scottish forwards happy to keep it tight for the time being, and they've won a penalty as well. Discipline hasn't been too bad from either side, but you do just have a feeling with that Lisa Thompson yellow card right before half-time, both sides have got to be a bit careful.
Yeah, I anticipate Scotland keeping it a little bit tighter. It's a real shame for Scotland and for Lisa Thompson. I think she's carried with such intent every time she's had the ball. She's taken it up, she's gone forward. Disappointing as that's just come up on the screen that Rachel Malcolm's had to make way. I'm guessing that she couldn't shake off that knee injury. But we'll see what this Scottish team have got without their main leader.
Yeah, the other change there for Scotland is Rachel Shankland has also come off, and Liz Musgrove is now on the field. Here comes Scotland attacking inside of the England half, but a loose ball now on the floor.
No advantage. It's a knock-on.
So they'll come back, just get ready to pack down, and you just said it there, losing Rachel Malcolm. We saw all that sticky tape that was put on her leg. That's just such a huge loss for Scotland. They just don't have the depth that England do.
Yeah, they don't, and not only that, it's just what she brings to this team. She's a real calm head. Obviously, captains Loughborough Lightning. She used to captain Loughborough Hockey at university, and she just is one of those natural-born leaders that is fantastic to have in your squad. You can see what Scotland are doing on that last play, though. Hannah Smith sees the space, is trying to get the ball there, and it's just the last pass that isn't quite sticking for them at the minute.
Bind! Set!
Well, just packing down for Scotland there, you'll see the number 19 shirt off, Evie Gallagher, who is on for her Scotland debut.
No.
Well, there's no one back there for Scotland. Here comes Jess Breach. She is piling the pressure on. They do get the pass away to Rolly.
No, it's a shoulder, it's a shoulder.
McDonald finds Skeldon. Still keeps passing it down.
Tackle.
McDonald finds Nelson. Right boot. McKenna just has to watch that as the ball sort of dies on the turf from the angle it lands. Well, Poppy Cleal had to almost sort of stop in her run up there to eventually take it on. Not quite as much power as she would have liked. Here comes Bryony Cleal.
She doesn't want to be in that much space.
Comes to Jess Breach. Oh, look at those tiptoes staying in. And there's the step as well from Breach. She's still going. Here's Rowland now. Still Rowland. Helena Rowland going over. And that is a debut try for Helena Rowland on her 4th cap. And try number 6 for England.
Just lovely work, wasn't it? I know I joked in the lead up to that. Bryony Cleal gets the ball in all manner of space. Fantastic timing and passing from Zoe Allcroft, and look at that footwork. Jess Breach has everything about her to stay on her feet, and you're never stopping Helena Rowland. The acceleration and the footwork of Helena Rowland is just brilliant. There's no way she's going anywhere but the try line on that occasion.
How much has being in the Sevens programme helped when you see footwork like that from these young players?
Do you know what? I'd love to say it's everything, and it is obviously really important, but Helena Rowland's been doing this for years. She played for Saracens when she was 18 back in the day, and she's now 21. She's learned her trade, she's learned her skill set. I think that's all massively improved being away with England Sevens, but her acceleration and her footwork has always been the best part of her game, and that's not changed.
Emily Scarra into the Doncaster sunshine. Has now lined up 40 points for England. She's only missed one so far this afternoon. Arguably one of England's prettiest tries that they've scored today. But let's face it, they're all 5 points. They're all equal on the score sheet.
It's just how quickly, for me, England can go from defending into attack and just strike like that.
A reminder at the moment, Scotland still playing with 14. Few minutes left on that sin bin for Lisa Thompson. Now, England have actually had a couple of penalties here at the breakdown. One was for not release and that one for not rolling. Our referee, Aurélie Groselou of France, not had a word yet with the England captain, Scarrett, but it'd be interesting if she does decide to go down that route soon. As Scotland line up another line out, and you've been impressed with the Scotland line out today.
I really have. I think Emma Wazzell's been dominating that really, really well. I'm really enjoying the battle between Ward, Aldcroft and Wazzell up in the air. I think it's been fantastic, but what about Gaffney's tackle there again, just going straight for the bootlaces. So brave.
Not straight.
Shouldn't have talked about the line out.
No, we shouldn't, should we? Proper commentators curse there. Well, England had the choice there.
The same mark, please, the same.
They could have had a scrum on the 15. They've decided to go for the line out as Lark Davis just shows off her latest hair accessory, the massive white bandage. Big press there from Scotland to push England backwards. Well, another England penalty.
Not rolling.
This time they'll be happier with the direction it's going.
It's just clever play, isn't it? You can hear, I'm not sure if you can hear if you've got the ref mic, but Marley Packer, for me, is consistently talking and commentating through the game about what's happening as this play unfolds. Really good pressure at the back. Leanne Riley does well not to throw the pass because you don't want to be putting pressure on anyone, and then you can just hear Marley Packer, roll, roll, you've got to roll, and it's clever play.
England just getting ready then for another line out. Got a few more metres down the park. And Scotland now back up to 15. Lisa Thompson back on the field. They've gone short on this occasion, England. Taken really nicely there on the run by Cleal, who's racking up the metres made for the Roses. Oh, definite Scotland hand on that one. England gonna have to try and tidy this.
Use it!
Well, that one's just been lost forward, and Scotland there. Nice position for them to have a scrum here. Little mistake there, lost the ball forwards. They've got 15 now, and they just need that little spark again, that bounce to get back into things.
Yeah, definitely. They need a score here just to settle the nerves, just to give them something to fight for. It's really good pressure. You see Skeldon leading the lineup. You heard her at the last line out, telling players to come with her. She's trying to fly off the back, but the back line is sat waiting for Poppy Cleal to have a run-up. You do not want to give Poppy Cleal a run-up, I'm telling you now. Get off the line and chop her early. The way Megan Gaffney's tackling, you should put her in there. Just let her fly at Poppy's bootlaces.
Well, Walter is back on for both sides. It has actually been a lot warmer today than I think everyone thought it was going to be at Doncaster, from the bright sunny days that both sides had midweek in the build-up to this game. Everyone thought this was going to be a bit overcast and dreary, but it is delightful conditions. If anything, they might be a bit hot.
Yeah, that's because we've got thermals on. But no, it's beautiful, and the pitch looks absolutely amazing as well. We're being real treated to some running rugby, aren't we?
Let's go, England. Bind. Set. 1, 2, 3.
Well, Scotland can go in either direction off the back of this scrum if they get it. They're coming towards the near side. McDonald gets the pass to Nelson. Rolly wasn't quite there, but they've got more runs here coming in from Gallagher. Wassell. McDonald. They come back on this near side. Here comes Hannah Smith. Haven't seen so much of her yet so far in this match.
Offside.
It did go forward there by Musgrove, but Scotland have the penalty for England offside.
That's the one for me for Smith. Just hold on. Just keep hold of the ball. You're in a really good position. All of the pressure is on England right now. Go through the line, make ground every time, recycle the ball quickly, play again. You just don't need to throw it. This is never on. It's never on. Jess Breach is in the passing channel.
Well, Hannah Smith has really good pedigree in that area. She was the best offloader in the 2020 Six Nations, but just not quite on that occasion.
Don't get me wrong, she's an unbelievable player and she's the go-to in this Scottish team. She's fantastic, which is why I'm saying that, because I know she's such a good player that she'll be disappointed with that herself.
Stunning line out from Scotland. 7 metres to go until the England line. Skeldon, a little bit of show and go. Round the corners, here's Belisle. Need a few more forwards to truck it up. Here's penalty advantage as well. Could it be more? Thompson with the long pass out wide to Musgrove. Rowland is tracking her down. Davis also over the top. Big hands going in from Macmillan to try and get a couple of extra blades of grass. Nelson, long pass out to Smith. Bouncing ball off the deck there, up into the hands in the end of Gaffney. Trying to work that really far channel. Plenty of England shirts though. Still going, here's Belisle. Oh, that looked like that went forward, but we'll go back for the penalty and this could be a card.
Time off. Captain. Yes. In the ruck we have a cynical action from the number 8 because she taps the ball. Okay. Yes, it's a yellow card.
Well, number 8 is Poppy Cleal of Saracens. She's had a really sparkling game so far, but England now reduced to 14 for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? She's one of the world's best at cheating as well, is Poppy. I think she's really agreed that she doesn't get this turnover. She feels like she's in a good position, and then maybe the frustration just coming out. Not sure, I can't see, to be honest, what that is, but
Poppy's knee just drops down there to the ground, and once her knee touches the ground, she can't keep reaching for that ball.
Yeah, she's just hit it straight out of her hands, hasn't she?
She's got lovely long levers, Poppy Cleal, but once you're on the floor, got to keep them to yourself.
She'll probably argue that she was completely legal in that action and it was absolutely fine. But yeah, England have got big shoes to fill with her being off for 10 minutes. She's getting through some sort of work for this side.
Scotland with the extra woman then. What a platform as well. Catigan gathers, gives the ball to McDonald. Nelson now. Smith has it. Oh, there was an opening there. England somehow hold on to Smith. McDonald gives it to Catigan again. Right, penalty advantage as well for a high tackle. England could be in more trouble. Nelson out towards Musgrove again.
No, don't stand.
Oh, McDonald was desperate to take it quickly.
Side entry, we have high tackle here. 13. Scrum.
Well, nothing more given than the penalty, and the number given was 13, who is Emily Scarrett. Yeah. And Scotland have the penalty. We'll take a look at this one about what happened.
Looked like that was maybe 15. Sarah McKenna coming in from the outside instead of Scarrett. But as we are, really good decision to go for the scrum for me. Tie somebody else in with one man down.
Here comes Scotland then with another bite of the cherry. Oh, what a run in there by Lisa Thompson. Had to slightly check her run there. Nice lines though. Back now to Catigan again, who straightens.
Knock on, advantage, knock on.
Another advantage for Scotland, still powering through. It's Bartlett there.
Back.
Bartlett calling for it. Big push back there by Bryony Cleal. Could see her coming. Nelson. McDonald back inside, gives it to Belisle. Nice round the corner work, still making the meters, stringing the phases together. Gallagher.
Back, please. Back, please, number 3.
The patience from Scotland is incredible.
Offside, advantage.
McDonald, real push
Number
back
5,
in there.
offside.
Remember, England a woman down.
Number
But Scotland
5.
have the advantage, and number 5, of course, for England is Kath O'Donnell, and the referee just will not let McDonald take things quickly.
Offside.
Here's Smith. Smith still going. Hannah Smith's going to go over for Scotland's first try of the 2021 Six Nations. They have pounded and pounded, and they deserve that.
Really great finish, wasn't it? She showed the dummy. She knew she had the outside up. Jess Breach has shot out of the line, trying to stop that ball going to Musgrove, and brilliant finish. As I said earlier, one of Scotland's best players. Just lovely footwork. Look at the hands. Just backs herself. Good fend on Tweema. Dives over.
Well, it's Hannah Smith's 6th try in a Scotland shirt. She's been a lot more active, we have to say, in this second half compared to the first. Really stepped up to the occasion of her 25th cap. She's deserved that drink, definitely.
She really has. That's what happens when you just play through the line, when you keep going. Jess Breach is trying to stop that ball, but the ball movement, that was the detail of that. She was shifting the ball around, allowed Jess to come up. She thought the pass was going to happen, and then just carries through the line. Lovely finish.
Slow it down a fraction to get 3, or we go on the front foot and go real quick.
Helen Nelson adds a few extras there, so it's England 40, Scotland 10, and England still with a woman in a bin for the next near 5 minutes.
Time off.
It's a really clever kick by Nelson, isn't it? We've spoken about the wind, but you just saw the flight of that ball, really low, drilled in. That's where we saw Emily Scarrett hit one and it came off the post, so she's probably saw that and learnt from it. As I say that, we see Shauna Brown running onto the pitch.
Time on.
Reinforcements are coming for England, and if you're Scotland, it's tough, isn't it, to have that amount of stardom on the bench.
Bryony Cleal is the woman who has making way for Shauna Brown to come on, and not a bad return to England duties for Bryony Cleal after what has been a tough time.
Yeah, it's amazing to see her back. As we said, it's 2 years between her first and second cap. It's just the graft that she's put in and how relentless she's been in terms of her rehab has been fantastic, and it's not been easy for her, but it's amazing to see her back out there.
Skeldon.
Use it!
The high ball
Yes.
is flying. Really sunny skies there.
Yes. Yeah, here.
And
I tackle number 12.
Joy Neville there giving the information to
High tackle.
Aurélie Grosselot that it was Langi Tuima there with a high tackle. And it does look like they are going to take a look at this one.
Yes.
Langi Tuima, of course,
Yes, Joy.
Harlequins inside centre. Only her 7th cap today. She's actually had a lot of injury,
Yeah.
which is probably...
Yeah. Yeah. Time off.
Well, I was
You
about
check.
to say that
So
the
I
reason
tackle.
that Langi Tuima hasn't perhaps racked up as many caps as people would expect is because she's had a lot of injuries. But our referee then, Aurélie Grosselot, makes her way over towards the screen.
Let me know when you're there.
Because there isn't a
Aurélie.
big screen here at Doncaster, so she has to make her way over. It looks a bit like football, doesn't it?
Yeah, but just a word on Joy Neville, they're real classy, isn't it, from her?
look at the actions of 2 white.
Yes.
So this is a different incident actually. They're actually looking at Lark Davis here of Loughborough.
When we have the contact, please.
Now this is a really important moment. You will have seen there have been lots of discussions
I'll try to
about
get
the
same
head
angle and
contact
we'll freeze the
protocols
point of
in the
contact.
men's Six Nations, and it will be taken just as seriously here in the women's Six Nations.
Doesn't look good, does it, for Lark
Okay, already.
Davis?
Yes.
There are
For
all
me,
the
You
angles.
have a contact in the head, and the player is a tackle. It's a mitigating factor for me. Are you agree?
I agree, Orly. There
Yes,
is
it's a yellow
an issue.
card against the 2 white.
I agree, Orly.
Thank you, Joy.
Well, yeah, that'll be one for everyone to discuss over their dinner this evening. But Lark Davis will be sent to the sin bin.
Clear contact on the head, so the player is untackled, so it's a mitigating factor. Sorry, it's a yellow card, so number 2.
Well, Lark Davis is going to be making her way off the field of play, and it means England are going to be playing with 13 for the next 3 minutes. A real opportunity for Scotland, who've already managed to score with England down to 14. What can they do with these precious 3 minutes?
Yeah, before I said when Lisa Thompson was off the pitch, I'd expect them to keep it tight. I'm expecting them to throw the ball around now. They're going to have space either in the backfield or in the front line.
On the line, please. On the line.
Lark Davis wasn't bothered to see that as a yellow card. I think she's grateful for it just being a little break, but she's been brilliant again today. So again, another shame that she's gone off, but what can Scotland do now to really invigorate this fight back?
Stay.
Here comes Scotland then. 2 extra women. Down the far side. Smith there. It was a poor pass to her. There wasn't a lot she could really do with that. Hat should have left it. And expect a little bit of time wasting and a bit of chopping and changing as well, because of course England don't have a hooker at the moment.
Please the number.
Yeah, it was a really tough one, wasn't it? You saw what they were trying to do. 2 players coming through the line. Helen Nelson trying to feed it out the back, go nice and wide to Hannah Smith, get it to the wide channels, but I think Nelson threw the ball where she wanted Smith to be rather than where Smith actually was. So wanted her to come on a little bit flatter just to make use of that extra man. If you play it too far back, then it just allows the England defence to drift. So I understand what was happening, but unfortunately that one's just gone down from a Scotland perspective.
Well, it looks like Amy Cockayne has had to be the full woman here to... Sorry, Marley Packer has had to be the full woman here for Amy Cockayne to come on the field so she can be the hooker. Langi Tuima has just been reminded of what it's like to play on the flank as she joins on the far side. Always frustrating if you're the one who has to take the hit.
Yeah, definitely, especially on 58 minutes. But for me, I'm licking my lips at the prospect of Zoe Allcroft running off the base here. She is an unbelievable athlete.
And England have recycled that one pretty fast as well. They weren't actually playing with just one flanker in that last scrum.
Advantage, Lopo.
There's a real arm wrestle going on there with Kath O'Donnell. Again, those passes for Scotland just not quite going to hand. You feel that even though they're the ones with the extra players on the field at the moment, they're the ones feeling the pressure to do something. Skeldon, Nelson, Thompson, Smith. Gaffney was well tracked down. Oh, Amy Cockayne, you can tell she's fresh legs. She was right up in the face there. But England offside again.
Offside.
How long is left on that sin bin? Well, we said Cockayne was up in the face. She was offside.
Yeah, she was. It's just how eager she is, isn't it, to get off the line and make an impact, make a big hit. I think she'd argue that the ball was lifted, but you've got to just wait, especially if you're going that far in front of everyone else. It makes it so obvious and an easy decision for the referee. Here you see the rip again. Really good work from Nelson and Thompson. She's made amends that she's come back on from her sin bin.
Okay, Christine Bilal has made her way off the pitch, and Molly Wright
Time is off.
now
Time
comes
is
on.
off.
Good shift for Christine Bilal today. Her first start for Scotland. She sort of made her way from second row, back row, ended up in the front row.
Time on.
She's quite popular as well, is Bilal.
White, here. Blue.
Her coach described her as a
Let's go, blue.
great human being this week.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So Skeldon puts it in. And once again, those passes to hand for Scotland are really costing them. Big run from Catigan. McDonald. Nelson. Thompson goes to the boot, forces the England back three to turn. McKenna does gather, but she's outside the 22. Rowland.
Stop now.
Right boot, and this time it's Scotland who have to turn around and go and get this one. Nice work, good communication there between those backs as Musgrove took it on. Allowed Nelson just to get back in position as Skeldon goes forward.
No, play on.
Muscle with the soft hands to Nelson. Out towards that far side wing. It was Thompson who was hanging out there. England still with 13 on the field at the moment. They need the clock to stop to get a player back on.
No, no. It's number 9. Don't touch.
England have got to be a little bit careful here because they are
Captain.
quite clearly getting on the wrong side of the referee right now. And as I say that, I think the ref's going to have a word.
You have too many infringements. Please, discipline, please. Yeah. Yes.
You'll just see Emily Scarrett now just calming everyone down. They know that they've got 13 on the field. I think people are trying a little bit too hard just to make amends, but what about some of those hands from Scotland in that last passage of play? Just lovely. You can see that their confidence is building as this game's going on.
Yes,
It's brilliant to see, and I just think that having
Let's
two
go,
people
right?
off the pitch,
Let's
they
go,
could have done this
please.
the whole time. They don't need to wait for England to be down to
Captain,
13 men.
ready?
I know it helps. I know it helps, but yeah, some lovely hands in those last passages.
Big credit to Emily Scarrett there as well. She knows she's got 13 on the field. She stood there for as long as she could with that group in a huddle so they could take on as much oxygen as they could before play gets back underway. No mistakes about everyone getting back in the field as we saw in the men's Wales-England match in the men's Six Nations.
Yeah.
She was probably giving it time for herself rather than everyone else, but yeah, very clever,
9.
very smart rugby player.
And 14.
Okay, a few changes here for England. Poppy Cleal is back on the field of play. Also, we get to see Ellie Kildunn come on.
Thank you.
And it's Sarah McKenna who's making her way off. Also, Lydia Thompson has gone off as well.
Play on.
Oh, Sarah McKenna's not gone off. She's just gone to hang out on the far side wing. So Ellie Kildunn can slip in at fullback.
Yeah.
Such frustration there for Scotland. England now back up to 14.
Back.
You just see Megan Gaffney there just
Forward.
confirming the call. And even though England, they're still one woman down, you do just feel when they've got that bit of momentum, they've finally got a little bit of attacking ball, and they've got all this space with that scrum out on the far side. It's been a long time since they scored some points now. They want more.
Yeah, definitely. Disappointing for Megan Gaffney. That's the first thing she's done wrong all game.
Time off. Yeah. You check. Eye tackle by blue.
Well, it has been a bit stop-start in this second half, but anything
You
that's
have
foul play
eye tackle
really
by
does
blue,
have to
I
be
check
checked
that.
very carefully. Simon Middleton's got his head in his hands there. Simon, it's a Scotland player, don't worry. Okay, Aurelie?
Yeah.
Well, that was a contact to the head there by Scotland. It's Molly Wright, who's not been on the field very long. Against Vicky Cornborough.
I think the angle on that.
Okay, we'll try to get the first angle.
Yeah.
We'll try to get point of contact here
Yeah.
early.
Yes, for me the point of contact is the head, and I don't have a clear mitigating factor. Are you agree?
Yes, I agree.
Do you have a number? 16?
Number 16.
So,
And we'll just play at real speed once more early.
You'll hear the refereeing teams talk about this. They go through
There are all the
the
angles
framework
already. Yes, 16 blue.
to confirm if there has been contact
So
with the head
does
or the
it
neck,
work
and then
out?
they discuss mitigation about
I
if a
agree,
player
Robbie.
fell
Yeah.
into the contact or not, and if there's no mitigation, the referee has no choice but to give a red card.
Yeah, it's player safety, isn't it? Obviously, it's absolutely devastating for Molly Wright having just come onto the pitch as well, but it's a change in game, isn't it? It's a change in mindset, it's a change in
Eye
everything.
tackle, the contact is direct in the head. You don't have a mitigating factor. It's a red card for the 16. 16? It's a clear tackle in the head. You don't have a mitigating factor. It's a red card.
Well, Scotland will now play out the last 17 minutes of this fixture then, with just 14 on the field. England are currently
The penalty is
on
here.
14 already with the Lark Davis in the sin bin. But that will be such frustration for Molly Wright. She's not been on long, but a strong decision by the refereeing team to help make this game safe.
Yeah, it has to be as well. Like, I'm gutted for her, I really am, but if you're going to try and make change, you've got to stay consistent with it across the board, and that's what these referees, they would have been sat in meetings and talked over and looked over all of this stuff for so long.
Yes, time off.
Both camps have had referees come in and do sessions with them this week. Sarah Cox has been into the England camp, and Holly Davidson has been into Scotland for these exact situations, and to talk through to the coaches about what to expect, how to referee situations. And speaking to Simon Middleton about it, he did say that when Sarah Cox has been watching training sessions, she said, no, I'd give a card for that. It was very similar in the men's Six Nations when the referees go in. Sometimes the coaches need reminding that when they're looking at these sessions, they need to be consistently reminding the players as well.
Yeah, definitely, and also the players as well, because it's a real change in mindset. Like, I know that everyone wants to tackle low and you want to go around the waist, you want to go around the hips, but it's really difficult to do, especially if you're used to staying a bit more upright and trying to get those shots. So for me personally, I'm quite little. If I go too high, I'm just going to get railroaded the whole time. So you try and tackle low, whereas players that have got a bit more about them, they try and go high and just stop that and make a dominant contact. So it really is a mindset shift, and something that players are really working hard on.
A couple of changes then for England. Leanne Riley has gone off, and Wasps' Claudia MacDonald is onto the field. They've also taken off the field to play Vicky Cornborough, and Loughborough's Detaisha Harper is on. 14 on 14, but England will be returned to 15 at the end of the sin bin as the ball is knocked on forward and Scotland get the scrum.
So frustrating for Claudia MacDonald at the back of that. Is all you want as a 9 is really quick, clean ball. It's a really good carry from Tweema. She's twisting and turning, trying to get the ball back. And you just want your players to go past it. If you're there as a 9, is all you want is people to blast the ruck, make it nice and clean, really good presentation back. And it's easy to play like that, but so often it isn't the way. I'm sure MacDonald will have a lot to say about that.
Well, Evie Gallagher has gone off the field of play, and Lisa Coburn is on. Another change also for Scotland as Mari MacDonald is now off, and they've got Jenny Maxwell in at scrum half. Great to see Jenny Maxwell back as well after her ACL injury last year. So when I say MacDonald now, I mean for England. It was the other way around before, just to confirm, is that Langi Tuima passes a long bobbling ball away that Jess Bridge tries to sort out, but she just runs out of pitch, and it'll be a Scotland lineup.
I really hope some cameraman has got that little backwards roll for her Instagram as well, because she's big on Instagram.
Well, that will be a worrying moment for Scotland fans, seeing that big strap there on the left leg of Rachel Malcolm. Frustrating for her, no doubt, as well. Of course, Scotland next week, that's going to be their rest week before they take on Italy on the 17th of April. Claudia MacDonald going to gather the ball for England. Big handoff there by the Wasp player. Here comes Poppy Cleall. She gets the big pass out towards the far wing. Still coming this time through McKenna. Brown. England enjoying having the ball in hand.
No. Over.
Rowland. Long pass out.
Tackle.
MacDonald then. There's Kildunn. She knows where the try line is. Soft hands once again. Ward. Tuima, nice inside to Breach, looking for work. Real slow stuff here from England. They know they don't need to rush it. Cleall. She just gets an extra metre every time, Poppy Cleall. Here's Ditesha Harper. Still has it. Rolling over the line. Scotland steal. What a steal on the line by Scotland. Been knocked on, so England will get the scrum, but a real moment of magic just to stop that last effort.
Brilliant play, isn't it? Just that never say die attitude that they've been talking about all week. Real grit and determination right on your own line, but fantastic patient build-up play from England. Really good to see them keeping it tight, moving it out to the backs. As you mentioned, I thought Ellie Kildunn was going to be going in. She knows her way to the try line, that girl, much to her wingers' disgust, because quite often it's for a dummy.
Well, the end of the sin bin for Lark Davis is finished, but she's not coming back on because Amy Cockayne was already there, and it means that Vicky Fleetwood is now on the field.
Yeah, and just look at this pass from Poppy Cleall. As she comes up and over, you see that left hand really wrap round the ball to get the ball up and down. Doesn't check Sarah McKenna at all, so she can run onto it at pace. Just lovely work. How good is Poppy Cleall?
Not straight.
She's had a very impressive afternoon. If the scoreline remains like this, her teammates might forgive her the yellow card. Scotland having to really play very tight to their own line there. Good clearance kick there under a lot of pressure, but it will be England who get the line out.
Yeah, and so important that Thompson made touch on that one, because the last thing you want to do is give Ellie Kildunn ball to run forward. Look at this as the turnover though. Lisa Thompson again in the mix. Oh, it's Hannah Smith, sorry. Just a really nice rip. She allows the body weight of Ditesha Harper to go down on the ball as she just steals it away from her. Lovely work.
Claudia MacDonald finds Rowland. Tuima just hanging out, waiting for it. Running around the corner, in the end comes Meg Jones, he's on as well.
The ball. Offside. Offside.
That wasn't Meg Jones, that was Vicky Fleetwood.
Yes. Second advantage, I tackle. 18.
Rowland, crossfield kick. They've tried this a few times from the first half. It's a bouncing ball. Abby Ward.
No advantage.
Unable to really turn on the gas and get there in time, but they'll come back for the advantage.
You have 2 advantage. I tackle or offside.
I would have loved to have seen Abby Ward dive for that, outstretched, got the ball back down infield. It's a really nice option, isn't it? I think Rowland's just not quite worked out the win for me. Every time there's just a little bit too much on it, or it's bouncing before, you want to try and get that into the arms of the player running on. It really does test the Scotland defence though, because it means that they can't come too tight.
Yeah.
Well, that was the high tackle on Vicky Fleetwood there.
White, stay here, stay here. Yep.
Not deemed worthy of a review, though, on this occasion. Ball in from Cockayne. Finds Ward. Here comes the train. It's going and it's going and it's over. Someone scored that. Doesn't matter who it was. Possibly Poppy Cleal. And that just continues a very good afternoon at the office. And you really felt that that one was coming. England 45, Scotland 10.
It's your main girl, isn't it? Poppy Cleal again. I'm bored of talking about her. She's that good. Just again, look at the setup. You see that initial drive, and it's just the patience of England. They wait for the onslaught from Scotland, then they reset, then they go to work. Poppy Cleal manages to get her hands on the ball at the back. Just brilliant work from her, isn't it? Just to add to the stats as if they weren't good enough.
England just making their way back up the field there. And it's interesting that we've got Helena Rowland now, who is stepped up to take on kicking duties. Right boot in from her. I mean, it was a long way out. It's come off the posts. A lot of people will forgive her that one. But it means Emily Scarrett isn't on the field at the moment.
1 and 7.
Yeah, Meg Jones has come on in the 13 shirt. I think important as well, because so often we don't see Emily Scarrett leave the field. And obviously in the World Cup final in 2017, when we lost Danielle Waterman, Meg Jones had to step up at the 13 shirt and Emily Scarrett went to fullback, but we weren't used to running as a team like that. So important that these things are done.
Well, Panache Mazambi is also on now for Scotland as well. Leah Bartlett is the woman who's made way.
Backward.
Well, Scotland have really got to try and push something here and try and find a way, try and finish on a bit more of a high on this, but you feel England, as Jess Breach just ends up a little bit too close to the line. Do you just feel Scotland just need a bit more confidence again? You do feel that that red card has slightly knocked them.
Yeah, it really has, hasn't it? They were starting to get into their stride. They were starting to throw the ball around. Lovely little hands, lovely offloads. And at the minute, they're just sat back. They're allowing England to come onto the ball. They're allowing England to play the game they want to play. They need to go and impose themselves, especially in defence again.
Well, that's Molly right there, who got the red card. And we've got a bit of a treatment also going on to one of the Scotland players. I think we've got a bit of a nosebleed that we're dealing with at the moment in the middle of the field, so they'll just wait to tidy up this. It's always a little bit of a significant moment as we see just Leanne Riley smiling away there behind her masks on the bench. That when Emily Scarrett isn't on the field of play, it's a moment, because Katie Daly-McLean has retired, Sarah Hunter isn't playing today, and they were for a long time considered the brains trust of England. And when they're not there, it's really important that we see new leaders emerge and someone else calling the shots.
Yeah, definitely. And for me, Abby Ward's been brilliant at that. What she does on and off the pitch in the England camp is fantastic. I think she's really stepping into that mould. But for me, when Emily Scarrett's not on the pitch, she's played 92 caps. I think she's started 90 of those, and she's never really been subbed other than twice. So it's uncharted territory for this England squad to have Emily Scarrett leave the field.
Ball goes long, nice hand on it there. I think it was Harriet Millar-Mills who made a nuisance. Well, there's no one there at the back playing scrum half for England. They had the ball, bit of a slower to get it out though. It's Vicky Fleetwood who's at the bottom of that one, being squeezed. Little kick through there by Rowland. Oh, just a bounce over the head from Scotland, who've got to chase that one backwards. Helena Rowland smiling.
Yes.
That was a very nice piece of work.
This is exactly the touches that Simon Middleton wants to see. We know what she can do ball in hand. She is so dangerous running at the line. But that is fantastic work. Just really classy game management. Pin Scotland back in the corner. Have a line out on your own line. Let's see what you got.
Well, ball comes down for Scotland, but this isn't the corner of the field they want to be playing in. They might just about have enough space to get that one out. They decide to try and work it down the other way, but it's a forward pass.
Forward.
Oh.
Forward pass. Stand right.
Oh, that's the last thing that Scotland want right now. Zoe Allcroft there. No number on her back in this second half, but she's just taking on a bit of oxygen.
She's been brilliant as well, hasn't she? 8 carries, 15 tackles. Just gets through so much work.
She's also one of those players, Zoe Allcroft, that always catches the eye, because it's not always what you can see in your direct eye line. It's the work she does off the ball that's so vital.
Her work rate's unbelievable. Lucky enough to play with her at club, and she's just fantastic.
Here come England. They can see the line. Cleal is controlling the ball. This used to be a Sarah Hunter special, but Poppy Cleal says, I tell you what, I'll have another. And that is try number 8 for England. Or is it?
Yes, okay. Joy?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, my on-field decision is try. So, Bea, would you check if you have a possible knock-on before try?
Sorry, is your on-field decision try or no try?
My decision is try.
Okay, your on-field decision is try. Okay, thank you.
So they're just looking to see then.
This will be
Poppy
tight if you
Cleal
want to come to the screen, and I shall
touching this one down.
Yeah.
I'd love to see the GPS.
For Aurélie Grosselot. Poppy Cleal looks on. Now, I always find it interesting where teams wait. England haven't gone back down their other end, so clearly they're not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, also Poppy's one of the gamers. There's a group of them that play on the PlayStation all the time. They've got their own little signs, and she's not done that. It's great work from Jenny Maxwell at the back of this, if she's managed to stop this as a try, because for all money we thought England was scoring. Really good control at the base.
Okay, Aurélie, I have a decision.
Yes.
The white player clearly loses control of the ball
Yeah.
before she grounds it on the try line, so therefore no try.
She's human.
Maybe Poppy Cleal knew all along. No try. Still not a bad afternoon though for Poppy Cleal.
Yeah, it doesn't deter at all from the game she's had, does it? It's a really difficult skill. It's really good pressure as well from Jenny Maxwell at the base.
Yes, you have advantage for stand up. It's a penalty here.
Penalty try, because we're going over.
No, it's a knock-on.
All right, we'll take this.
Stand up. Scrum.
Well, Abby Ward there, who's captain for England, she was arguing that she thought she could have got a penalty try out of that one. But our referee, Aurélie Grosselot, pointed out that it was in the act of scoring the try that it was essentially knocked on, so England will have to go again.
Yeah, you don't really see a penalty try given on the first attempt either. It's normally a reset first and a warning before that kind of thing happens, but lovely management.
Well, here comes Cleal. She was denied just a moment ago, and she is powering towards that line. Not on this occasion. Here we go down the back line. There's Meg Jones with the pass, but it's been knocked on there by Kildunn. And it's going to be a Scotland scrum.
Considering how quickly that ball was going over, the scrum was going over from the previous scrum, Scotland have done so well to stand their ground there, but just the hands, for me, England have got a little bit too flat. They're too eager to get over the line. Hold your depth, run onto the ball. The passing channel for Megan Jones was just too tight. Really difficult to get that in front of Ellie Kildunn. She just can't keep hold.
Okay, so there's Ellie Kildunn. In a few moments' time, we'll be giving player of the match.
Set.
Get your thinking cap on there, Natasha Hunt. That one just crumbles down to the ground.
17. 8. Calm down, please. Yeah. That's 1 second, please. Yes. Time off.
Well, they're just going to have a little bit of running repairs here. So let's use this moment to find out who your Women's Six Nations Player of the Match is, Natasha Hunt.
I think for me, there's been some really strong performances across the board. Obviously, Jess Breach has carried really well all game. I think Emily Scarrett, some of her handling has been unbelievable. Yeah. Lisa Thompson's really stood up for this Scottish team, but the player on the screen, I've talked about her all afternoon. She's just been unbelievable. 112 metres made, 18 carries, 15 tackles, no tackles missed. Like, they're crazy stats, and she lives life on the edge, but she is a very, very good rugby player.
Poppy Cleal then is the Six Nations Player of the Match as England get closer to that line, and it looks like our referee has seen enough. She gives the penalty try. Scotland pulling that one down, and it looks like she's going to go to her pocket as well. She asked for a number, she played with her pocket. And of course, when it's a penalty try, you automatically get the full 7. We don't do kicks at goal anymore.
Number 5, it's a yellow.
And confirmation then it will be Louise McMillan who is going to the sin bin. So Scotland will play out the last few moments of this match with 13. And with so little time left on the clock, who's got one last throw of the dice?
You're collapsing the ball for the try. It's a yellow. Behind?
I enjoyed that from McMillan. She just stood there looking at the ref like, me? Really?
Right then, not long left to travel then to the full-time whistle as Rowland sends the ball back down into Scottish territory. Chloe Rowley. Still Scottish ball. Put back by Maxwell. Out on that far side. Head down by Gaffney. Maxwell again. Oh, a bit of a juggle with the ball there. It's gone forwards. And that is it. Our referee has got 80 minutes on her watch, and it is business as usual for the Red Roses. Scotland, they got points on the board, they got a try, but England, they racked up 8 of them. Full time at Doncaster, England 52, Scotland 10, and Natasha Hunt, what an afternoon for the Red Roses.
It really was, wasn't it? It's such a comprehensive performance. I think that man on your screen will still be disappointed with some of the discipline, some of the opportunities lost, but some brilliant work, just relentless in defence, kept coming off the line, kept getting in the Scottish faces, but a massively improved Scottish performance. I think there's a few bits to tweak, like their exits, like that last pass that just wasn't quite sticking, but some of the handling, especially in the middle, was just brilliant.
For both sides, we have to say discipline, they will both have to work on. That second half was getting very messy with yellows and reds.
Yeah, it's just a bit of fatigue element potentially creeping in terms of not wanting to, you're just a bit tired, so you're not dipping as well into the tackles and stuff like that. But it's our first look, isn't it? They're not new laws at all, but it's how strictly they're being refereed, and it's the first look for both of these teams at that. So I think it's definitely something they'll work on, they'll go back and they'll look at, because you don't want to play a game with less people on the pitch.
Yeah, everyone just coming on, just making their congratulations. Scotland in a huddle off to the right. And it'll be interesting to see how Scotland continue to improve as they have their rest before they go to take on Italy. England have their game against Italy next week, then they have their rest before the finals weekend. Well, England at the moment on the far side, as we said, it'll be interesting to see how many times throughout this Six Nations we see Emily Scarratt taken off, because Simon Middleton is looking for women to step up. Almost the delay, you feel, of the World Cup has been a bit of a gift to them.
Yeah, but as a player, you just want to play. Like, if you're working, you work so hard to compete for your country and you want to play as many minutes as possible for it. So she'll be disappointed to have gone off, but she'll understand, I'm sure of it. And you can see Middleton there just speaking, Emily Scarratt looking on. I'm sure she'll have some words to say underneath that mask. But it's great to see, isn't it? England stepping up. Obviously, a lot of talk about Helena Rowland coming into that 10 shot. I think she had a great game, especially that little touch finder in the last few minutes, grub her into the corner. That's the sort of thing that Simon Middleton will be wanting to see from his 10s coming through.
Well, England have now won all 15 of their clashes with Scotland in the Six Nations. It's not a trend that immediately looks like it's going to be changing quite yet. They have been dominant. It'll be interesting to see how they go against Italy next up, who, a bit like Scotland, they really haven't had the chance then to get game time like England perhaps have with their Premier 15s league. Right then, full time then here at Doncaster is England 52, Scotland 10, and it's time to speak to the player of the match, Poppy Cleall, who's alongside Joe Curry.
Well, Poppy, massive congratulations. You've been named player of the match. It's becoming a bit of a regular occurrence this season. A comfortable scoreline in the end and a bonus point win. How satisfying was that victory?
Yeah, I think the opening game of the Six Nations, we've been waiting a long while for that. So to get out there, it was great. I think some of the bits mids ain't going to be too happy with, and we're going to get a little bit shouted at, like going down to 13 players wasn't ideal in an international test match, then on another warning and things like that, but we can play better than that, and I think that's what we're going to take away from it, that it was a good game for us, but we can do better.
I was going to ask about the discipline side of things. Is that the one area that you think you should be able to improve on?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we've been watching the men's games and all the new laws and all adaptations, and we're just a little bit behind there on both sides, and I think we need to get up to speed a little bit and make it a bit easier on the ref.
Well, it's been a proud day all round for the Cleall family. You're clutching the player of the match bottle of champagne. Your twin sister Bryony got a try, her second cap. It's come 2 years after her first. You know the struggle she's had with injuries in that time. How proud of her are you?
Yeah, so proud. You know, I think, what is it, 2 caps, 2 tries, and I tried to lay out on a plate for her, but she finished it well. And we've got the likes of Kath O'Donnell after another 2 years out of injury, and the girls come back. They fit seamlessly into the squad. They've been working so hard away from it. We can all see that. You guys might not see that, but you know, when they come out there, we're so proud of them, and I'm just glad. I'm really pleased for her to be back in the white shirt.
Yeah, it's not a bad record that for your sister, is it? Look, Italy.
Shades me up.
Yeah, Italy away up next. How close to top gear are you at the moment, and how much more do you need to show? Because obviously it's a shortened tournament,
yeah.
So you haven't got as much time to get up to your best game.
Yeah, you don't get second chances in this format of the Six Nations. So, you know, we've been training extremely well the last couple of weeks, and I think we didn't quite put that out there today, but hopefully we go away, we have a look, we train even better than we have been, so that when we can get out on here, we can go like full gear and do England proud.
And just on that shortened format, it means you play less games, 2 group games, and a final fixture to decide where you'll finally place. But there is that prospect of a grand final. Mm-hmm. What do you make of the format for this year?
Obviously, I'm so disappointed we're not playing all the teams in the Six Nations, and we don't, you know, get a chance to do a triple crown and things like this. But to go into a final, you know, there's not often we get to play finals in international shirt. So to play in a final like that, it's going to be a great occasion, and hopefully whoever we play and whatever final we're in, it's going to be a good one.
Well, look, England are one step closer to that potential final. Congratulations on the win and the Player of the Match award. Enjoy your champagne. Go and enjoy the celebrations.
Cheers, thank you. All the teams in the Six Nations, and we don't, you know, get a chance to do a triple crown and things like this. But to go into a final, you know, there's not often we get to play finals in international